dokie. Hello everyone, welcome to ServiceNow Pilot podcast, and today is a special episode. Every episode is special, but today we have two guests rather than one, and we have a different setup than usual. And today, guys from NEC company will share with us their experience from ServiceNow implementation. This discussion will be divided into four parts. First of all, we'd like to start to think of I think that one of the most important phases, which would be project planning phase. Then we would jump up into project initiation phase just before the delivery, and then we can think of the maintenance part and the future enhancement. But before jumping into the discussion, let's introduce yourself for our viewers so they will know you better. How are you guys?
Fine. Thanks. Thank you for having us. My name is Damian. I have been working with ITS and tools for almost 12 years, 11, something like that. With ServiceNow, it's 6 years now. Currently, I'm on position of ServiceNow architect, solution architect, and I'm happy to introduce ServiceNow to organization.
And you?
My name is Michal Gorzkowski, and I have been working with ServiceNow for the last 6 years with KMD, where we are both employed. And initially it was KMD implementation, and now since last 2 years, roughly, we are implementing the ServiceNow systems for NEC Corporation globally.
Okay, that's really nice. I really like your pin. I believe this is very related to project management, because I don't know if I believe that our viewers cannot see it, but maybe we can take a photo after that, because it's I really like your pin. So yeah, coming back to the 6 years earlier, as you mentioned that you started working with ServiceNow, if you could just tell us how it started. How did it go? How did you go with the project planning phase, and what lessons did you learn from that time?
Would we like to discuss the whole history, or how we believe should be done? Because we have joined the implementation, has already started.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult to say about how it was then. We joined a team where there was already ServiceNow and partners started the project, and we joined while the project was up and running.
Mm-hmm.
During those years, we have been implementing it, and recently we have also had a lot of new implementation that have started from scratch. So I think that it will be more valuable to discuss how it looks to start from the beginning, right? If you're joining the project in the middle, then you have to play the cards that you have available on the deck. That's what you have to do, and that's what we have did initially when we have joined. We have clarified. We tried to build the team, build the competencies that were lacking, and just implement what we could. What we see, which is most important in our opinion, during the initial implementation phase, is to have very good overview of the whole organization, what you would like to achieve, what were the values, what is the vision, and keep it, and focus on value that company will get out of the implementation of ServiceNow, instead of focus on technical deliverables. Those may change after the implementation. Usually those aren't so short implementations, so you have to be flexible.
I completely agree. We should be focused on the goal.
Mm-hmm.
We should know what will be the value that we are aiming for. Otherwise, we will miss the goal, the plan, because if you are not involving the correct people, if you are not involving whole organization in such projects, you will fail for sure. Because ServiceNow is really specific. It's a huge platform, and it's not only about having a service desk. It's about changing the way of working. changing the processes in the organization. So if you are not involved in whole organization, if you don't have this organizational change, you won't be successful in such implementation. So gathering correct requirements, gathering correct people, involvement of the organization is the crucial part as a starting point. Sometimes we are observing in the projects that we are starting from the decision.
Yeah.
We are going to have ServiceNow.
Okay.
It's not the goal itself. It shouldn't be the goal itself, having ServiceNow. We should have some specific outputs from this implementation, no matter if it's a whole platform or it's some products related to ServiceNow. So I think that's the missing part usually in the projects that we are observing.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Sorry to interrupt you, because you mentioned the organizational change and everyone within the process should be involved. And I believe most of the people, when they think of a new tool, especially ServiceNow, when they look, for example, on a Gartner report or something, they usually mean ServiceNow equals ITSM. And when it comes to engaging all the organization, how to talk with non-IT stakeholders to gather those requirements, how to make them feel that they really need to be involved within the process. How did you cope with that?
First of all, usually the preparation phase that we should have may take even longer time than the implementation itself. Because just setting up the platform, configuring it, implementing some minor changes that are needed for the organization may be easier than having the understanding and buy-in within the organization to do the change itself. As Damian mentioned, it's not about implementing this specific tool, it's not about implementing Scrum or IT within the organization. It won't bring you value. There are some value that you could have if you will implement them correctly, but just being 100% IT won't make your service desk necessarily better if you won't understand the real goals. With ServiceNow, well, usually you are starting with ITSM because that's where the platform also started. But in the case of our organization that we have been working with, it was affecting core processes of the organization. So the stakeholders have to be carefully selected, and you need to make sure that all of them are involved. It's like with, I don't know, you would like to build your perfect home, and you would go somewhere, ask someone, please do it. And if you wouldn't be involved, if you will just give someone some budget and tell them to build your perfect home for you, it may not be the perfect thing that you will get at the end. Right? You have to be involved, you have to be owner of this change, you have to be owner of this organization, regardless whether you will do it with internal team or you will use partners. This initial discussion and organizational setup that you have to build around the change of implementing the tool have to be there, and is crucial. And to answer how to discuss the scope and changes with business non-IT stakeholders, well, it is difficult for us IT guys because, well, for us everything is simple, 0 or 1. So we have to understand other point of view. But what seems to work for us in current setup is that, well, we have to talk about the values, and usually it translates to money in some way. So like some improvements on processes, how much time we could save, or what we could achieve, or how easier it will be. And you need to show these values instead of showing the tool itself, right? So it's not about showing them this or the other screen in the system. It's more about having the desire from the stakeholders to do something, and then you have to be very careful with talking them. You need to show them what they will achieve, and you need to also make sure that they understand what is the cost of implementing some of the things, because often we see that stakeholders would like to have something implemented, but they don't see the boundaries. They don't understand the system. They don't understand technicalities around it, and everyone would like to have everything perfectly suited for them. You need to find a way to translate their needs to the cost that they will have to take care. Right? If they're ready for it, go for it. If they're not ready, then be very strict on setting the boundaries of what could be implemented and what will be very expensive to implement and maintain in future.
If I may, if you will start with the question, what do you want from ServiceNow? Talking with stakeholders, you will receive as the result a huge list of the requirements that will be really difficult to prepare to achieve. What is working in our case since some time is talking about ServiceNow by showing the ServiceNow, so they know what can be achieved in the platform, how it looks like, what is possible, what are the options, what is the interface, and from this point you can have a really good start to gather more details. Otherwise, it will be pointless, because you will be talking about some idea, about some specific requirements of some of the stakeholders, without the tool. And it's not in the way that we didn't do such mistakes in the past. We were learning on such mistakes, and that's why we are not doing it now, and we are trying to show the system, the possibilities, and then discuss what we need more. But the starting point is out of the box.
Okay, so the starting point, even before finding out a tool that you would like to implement in the future, is having a constant conversation with all the stakeholders and gathering their requirements and even showing them some proof of concept at what they can do, and find some, I don't know, maybe projects or maybe ideas that will be beneficial for several departments.
Completely, I completely agree. Usually, the problem with the projects are related to the communication. No matter if it's about planning, it's about going deep into the project. On every single phase, you are talking with the people. If you are not speaking the same language, it will be difficult to achieve the common understanding. And that's I think that the biggest challenge in the IT world, because we need to talk with business needs to talk with us, and sometimes it's problematic because this misunderstanding, because great expectation and reality, and the comparison to the reality. So.
Yeah, and I believe this comes to things that you mentioned before about building those competencies within the organization, and how have you been doing? How have you been building those competencies within your organization lately, or maybe do you have any tips to for future how to?
You need to have a plan. First of all, it's very difficult. This is a very challenging market. ServiceNow developers, they're very demanding right now, and as from an employee perspective, this is very difficult to get someone. So you need to have a good and working plan, what you would like to have and what will be your needs in one year, 2 years, 3 years. If you're not able to think 2 or 3 years ahead, then it's very difficult to build those competences, right? And getting people from the market is difficult. Having people from partners, ServiceNow, or take outsourcing it, this is expensive. You have to find the balance. What was working and is still working very, very well for us is, and that's how we started, we had a lot of good luck, I believe, and we have managed to have initially a team of few very skilled and very experienced developers that we have been able to treat as a core of the team, and then we have been adding juniors from our graduate program or Talent Lab. And And majority of people that have been working with us and stayed with us for many years were those that have started their journey with ServiceNow in the organization. However, you need a scale for that. You won't do it with one. If you have one person that is doing ServiceNow, you won't add 5 new to be guided by this one person. So you need to start somehow, and you need to find those skills somewhere. And it takes time, right? It's not like you can take a graduate or junior developer, teach them ServiceNow, and in a year they will be able to implement processes or projects or modules from scratch. No, this is a learning curve. They will be able to do simple stuff in the beginning and will be much better in the 2 or 3 years, and after that they will leave somewhere else. That's how it is. And you have to make sure that during this time that the amount of time and effort you will invest will be manageable, and you will get more in return. And it worked really well. We started with 3-4 people initially. At some point we had more than 20.
Oh wow!
Developers, testers, architects. You
mean only by your team, your internal team, not the outsource or
no?
Oh, wow.
Only in the team that I have been managing, and then but then you have to make sure that you have budget for it, that you have enough tasks, that you have goal, that you know how to deliver the solution. So this scale up is doable, but it took us several years, right? It wasn't like something that we needed urgently. If you need to scale up right now because there is a project, there is a demand, and there is a deadline usually, and you need to deliver something in a year, there's no time to recruit even developers from the market usually. Then you have to find something sooner, right? And it will be more expensive. But if you see that you have some growth strategy, you're implementing your own project, or you're building a center of excellence for ServiceNow for big organization like we are doing now, then you need to have this growth strategy and just invest in it. This is the most efficient way, because everything else is
who should
expensive.
be accountable for that? Who should be responsible for building those competencies? Is it project manager who is going to manage the implementation part, or is it someone above?
It should be planned in the project. Because it's part of the ServiceNow lifecycle. If you are not managing this part on the beginning, after go live, you will have a lot of problems, a lot of questions will appear, because maybe the contract with your partner will finish, and now what you will do? So you know, without building these competences on the beginning, without having the plan on the beginning, it won't be sufficient setup, and in my opinion, it's both building the team, the technical team that will be working with ServiceNow, but around this product, we should have people that are really oriented on ServiceNow, on the processes, are really involved, and then you have in the organization the community that is really involved in the solution, and will be very beneficial as people that will be giving this learning lessons for others. They will be teaching others how to work with ServiceNow, what can be the benefits of using it, and so on. So and here it's about building these competences by your partner, using the product documentation, trainings that ServiceNow offers. It's a lot of certification that you can do, a lot of materials that you can read and learn something. So I think it's crucial part here to have this awareness on the beginning, that the implementation itself and the technical team itself, it's not everything that you need to build ServiceNow, the correct setup, the correct solution. Without people that are really involved, without business people, the stakeholders, you won't be successful here. I know that we have this this problem, especially in Poland market, that IT guys are not talking with business people and in opposite way, and that's the biggest challenge in the organizations. Communication and trustness, I think that's the crucial part here.
Sorry for a quick disclaimer to our viewers, because we've been interrupted by some technical issues, but we are back. And yeah, we were talking about building competencies within the organization. So so if you could just jump back into this topic, and you were saying that it is important that all the organization should be involved within building the competencies, and you had this very fascinating program, I believe, that you had some technical people and very experienced ones who were sharing their knowledge with juniors, and after the implementation part, they were able to be super users. And would you like to carry on with this topic?
Yeah, there are two layers in it. One is that you need to talk with your stakeholders, and even before the project will officially start, and before the implementation, it's worthy to invest in your super users that will be using the system, and make sure that they will make some ServiceNow trainings and that they will be involved. This will build their awareness, their desire to work with the system. They will also understand what are the capabilities, so they won't have crazy requirements during the analysis phase. So this phase can take longer than implementation itself, to make sure that you're talking with people that knows how to use it. But this is very difficult as well, right? So not in every organization will be able to do that. And in regards of how we have been able to build our teams, we did it in a way that we have been adding almost every year graduates that we have trained initially. We give them some initial trainings, and then we just put them into the system, ask them to work with some specifics of the system that we needed. Initially, it could be just working with defects or small implementations, smaller projects. After few years, they were becoming senior developers in outside of the organization. Market was really demanding for them, because they knew everything about all the modules that we had implemented. So that was very nice journey. You need to, it's not a side job, right? It's not one task for project manager to build the competences. You need to have this awareness that will take time, that will take effort, that you'll need some money to keep the team. It's still worthy, because budget-wise, it's still better than try to hire people from outside of the organization, or get partners, right? You need to use someone with a lot of experience, obviously, to be able to be challenged, to make proper analysis and so on. But if you see that you will have this kind of team in future, then it's worth investing in it and just going with this journey. Having your own people that you have started, you're cooperating for years, usually gives much better results than just trying to build the team just before the project.
Wow, that's a very inspiring story. And moving on maybe to the next phase, because just to sum up, so you have, at that time when we are after the project planning phase, so you've built your own competencies, you've set the strategy.
Or have a plan for it.
Or you have a plan for it. So you have a plan to build your own competencies. You have a strategy. Maybe at this point you have a tool even to go for. And if you have chosen the ServiceNow tool and you are not very, let's say, ServiceNow oriented company, so probably, as you mentioned, I love this example of building a house. You need some people to do that for you, some specialists from the ServiceNow market. And this is a very important topic, especially when you were saying about your organizational context, because each company is different, has different strategy, has different workflows within the company, and of course they are best practices how to implement ServiceNow platform ITSM tool properly, but it is different from company to company. So how did you cope with this NEC to a partner dialogue? How did you find a common ground to be partners and within the implementation phase?
Like you mean how to cooperate with partner, or
Yeah. How?
Well, it's also several layers, right?
Mhm.
You need to know what you would like to have, because maybe you have competencies and you have a project that will take more time or more effort than you have with specific time. Then you will go to a partner and ask for some augmentation of the team. I need 3 guys, please help us, join the team, let's work together. That's a different scenario. Or maybe you don't have those competences, or they are not available with different projects, and then you would like to go to one of the partners and go, okay, I have this kind of thing that I would like to implement. This will probably mean that we'll implement GRC. Please do it for us, right? So you need to define your own strategy, how you would like to do it. In either way, you're the owner of the change. So in either way, you still need to go to this house every day and see how it is and whether the walls are okay. The same goes with ServiceNow, right? You need to find someone from your organization that will be owner of the project, and this is crucial. You can't outsource everything if this is your product. At the end, you will be living in this house. You will be using this ServiceNow, not your partner, not your people, not you. The stakeholders have to be happy. So if you have this strategy, then you have to find a partner that have preferably experience with this kind of projects. Every organization is different, but if this is finance organization, they are usually similar. If this is software house, it will be different. If you have a lot of service desk within the organization and you have a partner that have been working in similar projects, this will be usually similar. So it's good to look within the community or your colleagues. This ServiceNow market is not so big, so you can try to look and ask who have been dealing with similar projects and ask for it, and then have an honest discussion with your partner representative what you would like to achieve, right? To also ask for the proposals and see what can be done. And obviously, as I mentioned previously, you should have strategy, you should have planned it, because if you will go to any kind of partner organization and ask for 10 ServiceNow developers that can join a project for next month, that's tough. It means that something went not exactly like it should. Ideally, you would have a roadmap and you'll be able to plan it.
I think this word partner is crucial. It's not your slave, it's real partner, and you should treat this organization like a good advisor, without, again, communication, without good collaboration, without transparent transparent thinking about the goals, you will have, of course, a very good company that will implement ServiceNow, but the question is if it will be with the best practices organized. If they will use all their skills, all their experience during this project. We are only human beings, and if you are not treated in the good way on both sides, you won't be collaborating correctly. And I think that's on the human being layer. This communication is again crucial. Without really good statement, what is our joint goal? We will be giving some heads up what we want to achieve. They will be informing us about their great experience and about their portfolio, but where we will be in the project. That's, I think, really crucial here.
About selecting the partner. If you are working with your partner or with your architects and it seems that they are agreeing to all the requirements and would like to implement them, it means that something is very wrong. That's what I feel.
That they don't challenge you,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
so that's why it has to be a relation with a partner, right? Of course, officially those are some services that are sold to your company with a price, and there is different components, so it may be complicated. At the end, those are human beings that are working with you. You need to make a team with them. You need to make sure that there is openness and trust in order for them to be able to challenge you. Right? You may have wrong ideas, and if you will start the cooperation when you just agree to pay for everything and you are making the rules, then everyone on the other side will just implement whatever you would like to have. And if you want state from the beginning that you would like to be able to maintain it, upgrade it, and think about the future, then you will implement something that will be there but will be very difficult to maintain in future, and your partner will be gone, right? Whoever will be doing it will be on the another project. That's not the goal. You need to have this vision from the beginning.
Yeah, so constant communication not only with your stakeholders in internal, but also with the partners. And how did you set the boundaries between your organization and the partner? Because as you were saying, it's not like someone is going to your house with their dirty shoes and so on and just doing their stuff. You need to communicate with each other and have a common goal and same plan for the implementation.
Maybe I will put a few words about this lower layer. So about the technical team. So I think any of the partners that we were collaborating with didn't say that they weren't part of the team. So we were treating them as our own employees, and they could make some mistakes, and we were okay with that. ServiceNow is a huge platform, and everything changes since one release to another. So you need to be open as well for failure if you want to achieve something. So I think that was the crucial part. That's why we were collaborating really closely. So without this silences, boundaries, that this is external person from the partner's company. Yeah? So on my layer as a person that were working with the technical people, with this architects and developers, that was the crucial part, that we were collaborating together because we were aiming to achieve the same goal. So yeah, maybe you have
even if you don't have the your own organization to do it, you will need to have someone that will be an owner. And even if everyone else will be from outside of your organization, then they should form a team and they should work really closely together. It mustn't be done in a way that there is a wall and there are only talking through steer calls and official meetings. Then it won't work. You have to work really closely. Even if you are outsourcing part of the project or whole project, then you need to be an owner.
Okay.
You can't and you mustn't just outsource it completely and forget about it, right? Because then that's very risky.
Yeah, that's very inspiring. So in our episode, in our story, now we are. So we have a strategy, we have our competencies built, we have a, for example, partner chosen. Now the contract is signed, project kickoff. What's next? What to avoid and what to do during the development or even the implementation part. From your experience, from your prior experience, you've been working with ServiceNow for 6 years. More than 6 years now, so probably you have some do's and don'ts during the implementation part, and I would be glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's the biggest challenge in every single project is change management. If it's not structured on the beginning, you will miss the goal because the scope will be growing. So you shouldn't plan on the limit. You should have some space because you are absolutely sure that if the project will take 2 years, it will be 4 releases that will be published by ServiceNow.
You mean upgrades, yeah?
Yeah. New version of the ServiceNow. So you need to be open because maybe you have planned some customized application, and in next year it will be additional module or product that will be available on the platform. So without this additional space for having such changes, you will do a lot of additional work that will be really painful in the future, because it's much easier to maintain the product that is authorized by ServiceNow, it's prepared by ServiceNow instead of your customized one. Yeah, a lot of additional tables, fields, and logic around it. It's really complicated. That's, I think, the crucial part. And again, it's still need to be done on the beginning, on the planning phase in the project. Yeah, so this space needs to be counted in. And next thing is about having this risk assessment. Again, it should be done in the planning phase, but you should be flexible to decide on something, to change something during the work with the platform. For example, you will need to prepare a few integrations. During the project, it appears that we have additional possibility to prepare the connection between these two systems. And you are sticking to the original plan when you know that the solution is old now, and or you will change something. Yeah, it's related, of course, to the change management, but again, it can happen that we wanted to have a CMDB, but the reality is that we have a lot of gaps here. So how we are going to assess it? We should reschedule the plan, or we are trying to do this after the go live iteratively. So such examples show us that yeah, of course you should have a plan, but you should be flexible to be prepared for such uncommon changes. Yeah. So yeah, that's the crucial part in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. On top of it, you have to make sure that you have correct structure. If you're making due diligence, if you're assessing what's needed and what are the requirements, use the proper system to store it. Make sure that the stories and epics and themes are written in a correct manner, that business acceptance criteria are done that have more than 2 words, right? Nothing is a common knowledge. You need to make sure that the requirements are written and there is always a business justification in there. Those very simple things that we had to learn in the beginning, right? That we didn't have. If you're doing development, of course, after go live, make sure that you're not doing it on the production. You're not testing in production as well. Otherwise, you actually have a test instance in production.
You need to make sure that you are testing.
You need to make sure that you are testing. You need to make sure that that during the development phase that you are investing in those things that make sense. It doesn't make sense to put every story in ATFs, but it also doesn't make sense to not use ATFs at all. There are some areas that you should have automated and you should do in the regression test. There are some core processes that maybe should be taken. Think about those processes, right? If you're not a software house that is implementing ServiceNow, but you don't have those skills in your organization, then you have to build it, right? Okay. Maybe with someone from outside, maybe with you, but you need to understand how the software is being made and use those principles. Otherwise, it will be too chaotic, and the quality may be better. And this is a crucial system for most of the organizations, right? Make sure that you have proper QA.
And QA, could you please explain this term?
Quality assurance. Make sure that you have testers, you have test lead, you are making test scenarios, you know what to do. Make sure that stakeholders are involved, and when you are implementing something, there are proper user acceptance tests where users have their own scenarios, right? Because, well, of course, a developer will test the solution with the happy path, the easiest way, and well, it should work like this. It works. The tester is a little bit more, we'll test a few more scenarios, what to do if you put wrong data, if we'll do this and that, and whether the other solution works as a regression test. But user will usually do something that no one think about. So make sure that they are in. They know how to use the system, and able to properly test it. When you have a bigger implementation, then also make sure that you have processes to maintain quality and have proper regression tests, hence ITFs again, to make sure that when you are uplifting new functionalities, the old functionalities in the system that used to be there are still working. Right? So those are basics, but but if it's not your bread and butter, if you're not a software house that is implementing ServiceNow, but you're doing bricks or whatever, right? Whatever your company is doing, then you have to build those competences and within your organization and make sure that the software is built with proper principles. It's very simple, but at the same time, it takes time to build it. Initially, we have been spending a lot of time thinking, okay, maybe we should do code review, maybe we should do more tests and so on. After some years, it's just obvious, right?
Yeah.
It seems like everyone knows it, yet there are new people joining, and then we see that, okay, there are so many rules that we have made, and actually they all make sense, right? If they aren't make sense anymore, because something have changed, then you get rid of it, of course. But you have to think about those basic principles as well, right? You can't just allow super users doing some crazy reports, workflows, and so doing everything. If there is some code, if there is some if there could be some impact on production, maybe you shouldn't do it in production, right? Maybe also your super users or citizen developers shouldn't do it directly on prod without thinking about the consequences.
Okay, that's interesting that the both examples that you mentioned are actually apart from the project itself, from the delivery phase. It's about being flexible to the changes that are coming and also building competences and being up to date, or even thinking or even forecasting the future, like you mentioned, testing. So that's interesting. That's to have a good delivery or implementation phase, it's always good to foresee something that you haven't think of before.
You can't foresee something that you don't know, but you can foresee that something like this will happen and have space for it, right? And from project management point of view, of course, this is maybe something that was more or less easy and didn't give us so much troubles, but from project management point of view, of course, there have to be some methodology that you will use to make sure that the scope is delivered, to make sure that what is done, that we are potentially releasable. And by purpose, I'm not saying that you should do it with Scrum or Agile or Kanban or this, because this also depends on the organization.
Okay.
If your organization is working with Excel plans that are waterfall, you really don't have time with your project to change their mindset to be agile, right? You can implement some of the factors of it, have frequent loops, have frequent feedback from the users, right? Inspect, adapt, and so on, but it doesn't mean that you, in this kind of organization, that you will be able to do it typically with Scrum. This methodology have to be adjusted to your organization, but make sure that you understand what's the goal, what you would like to achieve, that it's all documented, and you have this documentation, right? And then in a few years' time, you would be able to say, okay, we did this, and we understand why, and we can define now whether it's still valid or not, right? Not to do it like we have always been doing it in this way. It have to be the way we are doing it. It's usually the worst thing that can do. You will have, and with this flexibility, you have to be open to situations that you have implemented a very specific customized solution that was super needed for your business because it's business specific, and you agree to do it, you invested time in it, and in next release, ServiceNow is working on the same thing, and then you have to get back to out of the box or maintain your own solution, which will be very costly, right? You need to take this also into consideration.
It's a very good point with this new releases, because we were observing a few times that project managers were surprised by new release. You know about ServiceNow, they are releasing 2 releases in 1 year. So every single year you are absolutely sure that you will have this new version. So if you have 1 year project and you know that you will have these 2 upgrades, then you need to plan it. If you are starting the implementation, finally it won't be the same version of ServiceNow when you will have this go live. So you know, usually teams are forgetting about that. That you should have space, additional space for this, to verify the changes, and to verify the configs that will appear during the upgrade, and so on. So I think that's maybe small puzzle in this, but still, sometimes it's time consuming, especially if your implementation is related to a lot of customizations, because here with the upgrades you will have a lot of problems, a lot of
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
That's really interesting. The whole that we are actually from face to face. We are coming back to the solution that you have to plan it properly, and you have to even think of some competencies that you haven't had before within your organization. So so communication and properly planned future. And now you have a tool. Now you implemented it. You're after this horrible time of planning, talking to people, and so on. So what's next? As you mentioned, ServiceNow is growing. ServiceNow it's actively enhancing. So how to keep up with those changes? How to think of the future of the company and how to enhance it?
After go live.
After go live, exactly.
Well, cake. After go live, cake and the celebration, of course, because if it's done properly, if it was a successful implementation, then everything should be in place. It's not like that you are gathering requirements and then going into a cave with your developers and implementing some system, and then after half year you're out and you are showing it to the world. It doesn't work this way. In the meantime, there will be new release, you will have to adjust and so on. If you are implementing the project, as we mentioned, you should invest in teaching and empowering the learning about ServiceNow within your organization with non-IT stakeholders, also IT stakeholders. So you should already have the team that is able to administer the instance. So you can enjoy your cake because you already have a team that knows how to support it. You have the support strategy, you know how you are maintaining it. And by support, I don't understand it with just one administrator that will respond on some queries or add users, right? You have enough competencies to not only go with those small things that could happen, those small changes or incidents or defects that could happen within your service. Now, you also have an upgrade strategy, you know how we are doing. You have already decided whether you're going with freshest. What's your risk appetite, basically? What's your organization risk appetite? Are you going with newest features because you would like to use the newest out of the box things that are coming with new release, and this is most important? Or maybe you are going with N-1 version because you need to make sure that it's stable, right? Are you going to upgrade twice per year or once per year? With this decision also comes the size of the team that you will need, right? And ideally, this team that will be supporting and making sure that not only keeping instance alive, but also making sure that this is live system that is working should be someone that is working very close to you, right? It's difficult to outsource it because then you will have a lot of discussion about SLA KPIs and what to do, while you really need to invest in platform and have a vision that you will realize. So the successful implementation is just the beginning of the journey, and then years after years you will have to maintain it. You can't live with the system that you will just implement and leave, because after a few versions ServiceNow will force you to upgrade, and then if you don't have competences to resolve those conflicts, and there will be some conflicts always, maybe few thousand within both, but you have to be ready to take it.
Yeah, and additional thing, it depends. The next steps depends on the project itself. If it's isolated project and our goal was to implement ITSM product, and that's all. okay, we are fine, and it's everything like Michal already said. But if it's part of some bigger program, then of course we introduce some product, we introduce some part of the system, but it's still ongoing task. So we are not forgetting about the technical team that we have built. They will have a new task. They will be implementing maybe new products. Because to be honest, I can't imagine that we are using ServiceNow only for the ITSM. It's huge platform with huge potential, and to be honest, it's waste if you are deciding on ServiceNow only because ITSM. In my opinion, it will be competitor for SAP as well in the future, because you can have a lot of products implemented, customized, and done exactly in the way like your company is working on a daily basis. So yeah, I think it depends on the project, if it's part of bigger change in the organization, or it's really only about some small product that we will be working with. So
yeah, ITSM is probably the conversation starter, and for most of the organizations, they usually go through Gartner. What is the best tool? Okay, ServiceNow ITSM, let's go for it, and then decide to build, to go through other parts of their organization. But you also mentioned customizations. I'm really interested in this part because I believe each company is different.
Yeah.
And each department has its own vision for expanding their ideas through ITSM platform, and how to cope with it, bearing that in mind, but that the platform itself wants you to be as close as possible to the out-of-the-box solutions.
So we have some small joke about that. So 100 hours of development can save 10 hours of analysis. So if you are working in this way, of course, you will achieve something, but where it will be in comparison to the best practices, to work efficiency and so on. So it's really common that we are talking with stakeholders, and we, after a few minutes, we know what they want. And of course, there is a story prepared, there is a story developed, and so on. And then when you are showing it to the stakeholder that you were talking with, it's not even close to the expectation. Yeah. So a lot of discussion with the stakeholder. This ServiceNow presentation to stakeholders, having this proof of concepts, demos with stakeholders, we save a lot of time. And of course, out of the box, it's not a goal itself, but being close to out of the box will save a lot of time and a lot of troubles.
It's not like platform is forcing you to go with out of the box. That should be your conscious decision whether we really need to customize something. It's doable. It doesn't mean that you should do it, because every 100 hours put in customization, development, codes, business rules, custom tables, this not the configuration stuff, but this typical development stuff will cost you another few hundred hours in the next few years. You will have to upgrade it, you will have to maintain it, you will have to make sure that everyone understands, you will have to resolve defects, right? And you won't ask in community about how to fix it, because it's your own solution. The only people that knows it are the ones that are within your organization, if they are still there, right? So usually there are 10 ways to do something. 5 of them are quite okay, right? And if you have to choose between the solution that would require some customization and wouldn't require some customization, usually the one that wouldn't is much cheaper. Not because of the implementation, but because of the costs after. Again, the question about your strategy towards the system, how often you would like to upgrade, and so on and so on. But you need to make sure that there are no other ways to do it, even if it means that someone will have to click twice instead of once. It may happen that this functionality will be changed with next upgrade and will be better, if you will decide to customize this functionality, you may be stuck with it.
Or maybe in the new release it will be additional product that will be offered
Yeah.
by ServiceNow as a out of the box. Yeah. So
Mhm.
so yeah, it's really important to prepare such customization only if it's really needed, because what is stopping us to have out of the box to have as a result simplified processes, business processes. Usually it's our behavior. If you were working in the same way for 10 years, why you should do these changes? Because you are changing the tool. For some of the people in the organization, it's really difficult. Yeah, and with changing of the tool, it should be the change of the mindset of the way of working, way of communicating, and ServiceNow is huge platform, offers a lot of products. So if thousands of customers are using very close to out of the box ServiceNow, why we shouldn't do this? Yeah, so I think that's about awareness, about experience, about collaboration with partner. If you have the person that will advise, you will have organization that will advise, it will be as a consequence much better prepared, maybe without huge customization. With the small ones, it's obvious. Maybe we want to change the label because since 10 years we are calling something like that, okay. But if we are doing something only because we were doing it for a few years, maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe we should change the processes because it doesn't serve us any longer.
If we would implement the project with division, as we mentioned initially, you would have the business prepared, trained with ServiceNow. They would understand it, so they would get used to work with out of the box. You wouldn't have those questions at the end of or during the maintenance phase. That's why we have mentioned it about it in the beginning. We didn't find it out at the beginning, right? It's what we did. We saw that was challenging, and now we know what to do in the at the beginning of the project. Yeah, so.
Now we can be like ServiceNow prophets within your organization.
Yeah, it seems that in most of the projects, there is this. It will look like that.
Yeah, because it's really common that you have, especially on the end of the year, fiscal year, you have some money on the table, and someone will have idea. Let's implement ServiceNow or additional product in ServiceNow.
Yeah, but organizational change management doesn't like deadlines.
Yeah.
So it should be a journey to be ready for implementation. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the great part of the problems that people are facing during the ServiceNow implementation is because this thinking that we have some money. We are taking quickly decisions and maybe we'll achieve something. Yeah.
Okay.
But for sure, in the budget next year, we will have exactly the same amount of money because we spent this budget. So yeah, we will be safe. But the consequence can be really difficult for us because we will stay with difficult implementation with customized solution. If the organizational change didn't happen, you will have a lot of customization. That's a common result because people won't agree for the changes.
Okay. And just to sum up the whole journey, I mean, I don't want to go through the future because the journey continues right on. But if you were able to provide me with a time frame, for example, what would be the ideal time frame from each phase of the implementation? For example, how long would you put your effort, or would you like next time to put the effort on the project planning phase, then the implementation and the project initiations? How long should it take to be done properly? Of course, it's like it's like thinking from the air because every company is different. But from your perspective, from your experience, how would you describe that?
So it very depends.
Okay.
You can't take it out of the context of the organization, because you may have a simple ITSM implementation for 10 fulfillers, users that will be IT users that will be using the system that doesn't have any IT system. So you will just propose them out of the box and do it. Or you may have an implementation for 1,000 IT users that are supporting 10,000 users within the global organization. And then the preparation phase can take a year in this kind of, or more, right, in this kind of project. So it really depends on the organization. If it's very simple, it should take weeks. If but usually it's not. It's still not so popular within small organizations. It's usually bigger. If you have like small implementation of ServiceNow with 100 fulfillers, it means that it's 100 support, one team of 100 supporters, for example, in IT, which means that the organization itself doesn't have 1,000 people. They usually have a lot more. So you have already thousands of stakeholders that you have to take care of. They will be affected. They will stop creating tickets via email. They will start creating tickets via portal. They will stop calling. They will start doing a self-service. They will start using chatbot and so on. So you have to manage those thousands of customers of users. So putting deadlines, that's one of the common challenges that you will have, or mistakes that you will get, that you will try to put deadlines without deeply understanding the context of the organization needs, the complexity of the organization itself. I won't answer this tricky question because
I would advise
it's a trap.
a lot of effort for this planning phase. Without that, you will have a huge problem on every single project phase. That's the common misunderstanding, I think, when you are starting with every single IT project. It will change, of course. As you mentioned, it's difficult to forecast because you can have some projects, like you already said. You can migrate from one ITSM tool to another. It's a different story. So it's really hard to compare. But in one of the projects, we are really close to offer standard solution. So we know how much time we will need to implement ITSM, for example. So, but again, it's not pure out of the box. It's standardized about standardized processes, processes aligned with the NEC. But we are really close to be in this place where someone is asking us, okay, I have this and that amount of fulfillers. I need this and this module in the ITSM. What is your proposal? And I think now we are able to answer such question. But it took a lot of time to be in this space. It's not an easy story because, as you mentioned, every organization is different. Every implementation is different. We have different expectations, different requirements. So in our case, we were able to prepare it. But yeah, it was a difficult journey.
It was. It still is. It's still in progress. So it's not like completely finished. And it won't. We won't be able to use it as a standard and offer it to other companies. Exactly. No.
It's our own internal standard.
Okay. So that's really nice. I'm really grateful that I was able to hear your story, and I'm pleased that you accepted to take me and our viewers to the story. I believe it was very inspiring to share, to be shared with your knowledge and experience, and to have opportunity to talk about it, and maybe for some of our viewers to avoid some examples in the future to make those implementation as fluent as possible. I have one last question for you. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a question that I would like to ask all of my guests because each answer will be different. So, what's your favorite thing about ServiceNow platform?
Okay, and we should say only one, or we are somehow limited, or
it's an open mic for you.
yeah. So maybe I will start. For me, it's flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
So you have great opportunity to introduce ITSM, HR, other products in one huge platform. So that's really amazing. And with all this automation, workflows, and so on, you are really not focused on the technicalities, like to write some lines of codes. You can work really in a really creative way with the platform. So I can say that we have ServiceNow developers, maybe these people only configuring the ServiceNow in some of the projects. But yeah, it's really powerful from this end. We have with this product really a huge community that is working perfectly fine. You can ask the questions. It's really strong support here as well, and we can observe that ServiceNow is putting a lot of effort here in the collaboration with this community. So that's not common, in my opinion. I was working with other ITSM tool. I won't be saying the names of the products, but it's not a common situation. So I think that's the perspective that I would share here.
I would add one platform, one data model for all the modules that you can basically run most of your or even big organization within one data model, and of course the community ability of trainings and the effort that ServiceNow is putting in making the implementation easier. Right? It's not like that there are few pages of documentation left and out of date. It's really huge help from community, from official documents, from Now Create, from Now Learning. There's a lot of sources that you can learn, and there is this still a very nice vibe about the platform where people are working. They are basically working like 8 hours per day, and they still like to meet with each other after it and talk about the platform and the capabilities and so on. This is, I think, not so common with some of the products that you just do and try to forget. So this is nice.
Okay, yeah, thank you for your answers. I hope you had fun today. I hope you enjoyed being with us, and I hope you'll be able in the future to share some of your other stories. You're welcome here. It was your first time, but I hope it won't be the last. And to our listeners and viewers, if you have any questions or comments regarding this or other episodes, don't hesitate to leave a comment below and reach out to us via many other social medias. And yeah, see you in the next episode.
Thank you very much.